Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be with Colleen Joyce from lawyer.com. Colleen, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here today.
We are excited to have you. So let's go back in time a little bit. Before we talk about what lawyer.com is, How did you get started?
Yeah, so our parent company started a domain development company back in the late 90s. So when everybody asks, how did you get that name? Well, we were very early and lucky because they were early adopters of the domain industry. So when I hooked up with them years later, they had a portfolio of domains, and it would be fun because you could whiteboard. All right, what business do we want to draw on, right? And lawyer.com was what was picked out of the hat.
That's awesome. Now, what does lawyer.com do?
Sure. We're here to help consumers. We make it very easy for you to find a lawyer. It's very difficult to find a lawyer. You literally have to cold call one after the other after the other. We make it super easy where you contact us, you go through our secret magic system, and then all of a sudden you're in contact with lawyers. You're able to reach out to them, they're able to reach out to you, and you can start kind of negotiating that next step of your case.
Okay, so in essence, you are like Match.com or whatever, dating for, matchmaking for consumers and attorneys.
We say that all the time. We are truly the best matching engine out there. So that is our biggest asset.
That is awesome. We can totally, I'm sure, geek out on the algorithm. So let's talk about what areas of law do you cover?
Yeah, so we're very consumer law focused. So that means truly anything that me as a consumer, you as a consumer would need. Whether that's divorce, estate, you got into a car accident, right? You've got a DUI, right? It happens, life happens, and we're here to be that solution for when you need help.
Okay, so how long have you been matchmaking consumers with attorneys?
Yeah, so we started the business in about 2012. So we have matched millions upon millions of consumers in the years. And it's one of the best things that we get to do every day.
That is fantastic. And am I allowed to ask how many lawyers you have served?
Yeah, we've served, so there's about 1 million and change lawyers that are in private practice. You kind of like within the ecosystem. We have probably served about 200,000 of those lawyers that have come through our system throughout the years.
That is absolutely fascinating. So you've probably got, are those millions of consumers, I assume they register on your site, they're in a database somewhere?
Yes. Safe and sound.
Okay, so then you become one heck of a data company beyond just a matchmaking company.
Yeah, we really like to think of ourselves as a tech company that just happened to be in the legal industry, right? Everything that we do is tech forward, data driven.
Okay, so are you monetizing those consumers any other way other than the lawyers paying for access?
Right. It's a good question. We are not. It is something so we've talked about it. We have played around in the legal insurance. So you've got car insurance. Yeah, you've got health insurance. Why the heck don't you have legal insurance? If you go into Europe, everybody has legal insurance. If you work for a big company like a Facebook or Microsoft, you probably don't know this, but you actually have access to legal insurance, whether it's by like Hyatt or ARIG. We played in that space. we focus, we run a small, scrappy kind of startup mentality. So we go where we feel like we can make the best impact. And that's a product that we've had that we focused on, but not actively.
Okay, I would love to have a conversation about that because we have so many advertisers that would line up,
Yeah,
because you know what their legal issue was,
100%.
which leads you down the rabbit hole of data mining and hey, what else might those people need?
Right.
All right, so let's talk about the lawyer side. So how do lawyers interact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started as a directory. We put the directory up thinking that the internet truly wanted to be free. All of a sudden, a lawyer would call and be like, "Can I pay to be listed?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I have to Google that. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you I don't know. This is all new, right?"
That is awesome.
And then consumers would call and be like, "Hey, can you help me find a lawyer?" And we were manually matching
Wow. I can't even
until,
imagine the amount of labor that took.
oh my God, until one of the guys said, I know how to get in touch with this guy. We've sent him cases already. Like, why can't we put a database together?" And it was like, ding, ding, ding. So the way that we interact with lawyers is, right, we like, "Hey, listen, come on. Here's what's out there," right? Do you want more? Talk to us. We realized throughout the years that lawyers aren't great at answering their calls or converting these leads.
I was going there. Okay, you're getting ahead of me. Awesome.
Right? Because a lawyer would call me, and I hate when lawyers cancel, right? Because I'd have to take the calls, right? I was everything at that point. They're like, "You suck." Da da da. I'm like, "Do I suck, or did you not answer
The
the call?"
lawyer suck, right?
Yeah. So I'm sure I suck at a couple of things, but then what happened was it was like, all right, well, let's start a call answering and intake service, right? We had already had that core competency because we're talking to millions of consumers every day. So it was kind of that natural progression to then say, okay, great. You know what? We went to a local law firm, the Mark Law Firm, and I said, "Hey, Jameson, will you trust me enough to forward all of your calls to my cell phone?" And he was like, "Okay." And for 6 months, wherever I went in the world, "Thank you for calling the Mark Law Firm. How can I help
Wow.
you?" And I learned, right? I learned, how do you handle intake? How important it is to be that front line. Now we have over 800 law firms on that product line.
That is absolutely fantastic. I would imagine you could also, because of the ecosystem, offer them other things as well because you know so much about who's looking for them and all of the other things.
Yep, absolutely.
So you've built such an amazing company. Like, what's the biggest challenge you're facing now?
AI, right? Like everybody else. So 4 years ago, AI came knocking and we had two options: hide, right? And pretend like, "Oh, it's just a phase, but we'll get over it." Or go in like guns blazing. And that's what we opted for. We went to our tech team and we said, "You guys are AI product managers right now, right?"
Congratulations.
Right now we're standing pretty because they're leap years ahead of other people because they're busting out code left, right, and center, right? So I think for us, AI changing is a big factor. How do we stay ahead of that? We run a people business. Well, what do people look like in a year from now, right? And how do we protect the team? How do we protect the product so that we are AI proof, right? We're future proof. And I think everybody's facing those issues. When we talk to law firms, because we do a lot of like law firm coaching, I'm not a lawyer, I don't run a law firm, but I have the same problems that you have. I have hiring problems, I have culture problems, I have compensation problems, I have productivity problems, right? So it allows us to kind of have a level playing field when we talk to law firms, which is really great. So depending on the day, depends on the problem.
I can resemble that remark. So, how do you market the site? Millions of consumers. How do you get them to
Yeah.
find you?
Well, the best part is when you need a lawyer, where are you going to go? Lawyer.com, right? So our type in
But what if I
traffic,
don't know you exist?
the organic brand itself is so strong and powerful that they do know we exist, right? Because obviously we track everything. As a data company, it's
Yeah.
fun. So our type in traffic of just organic is a great way to gain attention. We also do, the same that every other law firm does. We're out there, our name's out there on the consumer side of things. And then on the law firm side of things, well, we try to be part of the community. I think that's a big factor for growth within the legal side is joining the community.
Okay, so you talk about the organic type-ins and people just saying, find a lawyer or whatever, and
Yeah.
finding you. Do like all the other lawyer directories like Avo and all the other places, do those compete with you? How does that affect you?
Yeah, absolutely. And this was like from day one. It was like, okay, we had a decision to make, right? How are we going to be different? It was me in a room, and I'm battling Avo, I'm battling um,
Martindale,
Martindale, all of it. So
LexisNexis.
everybody, right? And these are like 200-year-old companies, not Avo, but Avo had a lot of money
Yes.
backing it, right? A lot of PR, good or bad. So the one thing that we were able to say is the one thing I can control is customer service. I can't control anything outside of that with those guys. So when a lawyer would call and say, why the hell should I be listed here and not there? I'd say, hey, listen, if you want consumers, you should be listed everywhere. Right. And that's the stance we took from day one. And I still take that stance. If you want the best option to be seen, you got to spread yourself everywhere.
Amen. How has you brought up AI. How has
Yeah.
like answer engine optimization, the
Yep.
process of now people are just seeing a Google Gemini summary on the page or they're
Yep.
asking ChatGPT or Perplexity, how has that affected like your organic stuff?
Yeah, so thankfully traffic hasn't impacted it too much. I think what we're going to see, and we're starting to slowly see this, is that the consumer is a little bit, the intent is a little bit more greater now because they have access to information. So before they're calling us or before they're calling the lawyer, they're Googling, they're asking ChatGPT, then they're coming to us and saying, hey, I have a little bit more confidence right now in what I'm saying, which is even better for the law firms because now you have the intent, which is going to lead her to a higher conversion rate. So I know a lot of people are scared of that, right? Is my traffic going to disappear? What's going to happen? I say, let's view it the other way and say, now the consumers that we're getting are going to be stronger candidates that you're able to help.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like HubSpot, they lost 80% of their organic traffic to their blog in the last year thanks to
Right.
ChatGPT. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, and they're the godfathers of inbound content marketing.
Yeah, right.
So, talk a bit about your content strategy.
Yeah. So it's funny, when we first started, we were like, social media is stupid. I still think it's stupid, but you'd have to be stupid now not to play in it, especially when you're talking about content marketing. So we've got kind of two paths and avenues. We stand on the lawyer side in kind of more of a thought leadership role where it's like, okay, let us share with you what's happening out in the industry. Let us share with you, what's Seth thinking right now, right? What is he seeing? And then funnel that through our network. And on the lawyer side, on the consumer side, we haven't played too much on the social side. Sometimes it's a little difficult running that double-sided market because you have one brand name that needs to have two voices. So it's always trying to find a balance between those.
You mentioned social. We talked
Yep.
about Google and AI and email. You guys do any direct mail?
We don't. So I used to, this is a fun story. So somehow I found out that lawyers have access to anytime someone gets a ticket, right? It goes through the state system and that's public information. You just get the name and maybe the home address, right? This is why when you get into a car accident, you're bombarded with mail. So I thought, okay, well, what happens if I sign up for that? And what happens if I call, right? I can match the numbers and then I call and I say, hey, John, this is Colleen from lawyer.com. Just wanted to follow up. And the mom answered. And the mom's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I'm calling about the recent case. I haven't done it again.
We
She's like,
had,
what case are you talking about? And
yeah,
they're static on I gotta, whoop,
wrong number. Sorry.
yeah. So we don't do any direct mailing, but I do. We've played in that space. I personally do not ever get our mail here. So if someone's trying to get me, well, don't mail me. And nowadays, no one's even emailing. So we have loss of mail, loss of email. It's harder and harder to reach the consumer.
Oh, I agree. I was thinking on the lawyer side.
Yeah, so it's funny. We haven't really done any direct mailing on the lawyer side. We send, like anytime a lawyer signs up, we send little things and that kind of stuff, but we haven't done any direct mailing on that front. It's like, I'll write that down.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny you mentioned calling and going, oops, sorry.
Yeah.
We had that issue. We were in the news a number of years ago because the we had a dad who called and said was furious because he got direct mail for his daughter promoting prenatal vitamins
Hmm.
because she bought something at Target and he didn't know she was pregnant and she was in her teens.
Yeah, that's tough, right?
Yeah, I'm like, we're matching the data, we're mining it, we're doing what we're supposed to, but she
Right.
hadn't told dad yet.
Well, dad found out. He was going to find out one way or the other. So
True,
you
but
you maybe helped have that conversation.
forced it. Right, right.
Yeah.
We stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Just like you said, I'm not going to call and ask about the case anymore.
Yeah, right.
You mentioned running like still having the attitude of a scrappy
Yeah.
startup. Talk about your team.
Yeah, we have an amazing team. We are all in-house under one roof every day. We are driven by culture, and the culture is we got to help people and we want to fight like hell to make the best possible brand that we can. And having everybody here in one roof, I think really makes that happen, to be honest.
How many people?
So we have in our kind of like our main team, we're about 50 people, and then we have our kind of help call reps that do intake and answering in addition to that as well. So, we fluctuate between 150 to 200 people given any year.
That makes sense. Has AI affected your answering service at all?
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're sitting here 4 years ago saying we have this amazing product, we have this amazing product line. We better figure this out. So, what we did is we went heavy into AI. We have millions of data points that we were able to use and grow on, right? And build custom AI for our tech, for our call answering platform. And we have AI capabilities. We are in that model right now where you really do need a human in the loop. So, yes, have AI answer that initial call. But the minute that you find out that it's a high value case or it's an important call, boom, go right to a live person, and you've cut down on cost on one side, but then you're balancing it out with that expert human, right? We talk about that a lot in intake is you really want a sales rep answering those phone calls. And that's really the model that we've built.
Right, and AI can't emote.
No, getting better.
Yes, but again, if I was calling going, "Oh my God, I just got hurt," or "My wife just filed for divorce," or something
Right.
like, I don't want a robot. Like, I want a compassionate human being.
And it really it depends on the practice area, right? And I think that you can cater your AI to different practice areas. And every day the AI is getting better and better and better to the point where we talk about it. It's like the minute that American Express, Discovery, United, the minute that they all go to agents, we're right behind them and we're ready for that. And that's what we've been preparing for.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about your tech stack.
Yeah. So it's funny because 4 years ago, we went in and we said, okay, we've got like 10 developers, right? And they all have unique skills that they focus on, right? We got back end, front end, design. And we said, with AI, we need to have one team that can do absolutely everything. And that's really what we've spent the last 4 years doing because we could build our own custom technology, right? And that's what we've done for years. However, now with AI, with Cursor, right? Why are we going to build something custom when we can go out there and say, okay, let's use these tools now as building blocks, right? So when we talk tech stacks, we've completely changed how we operate, as I think everybody should. Everybody should be going into that, okay, this works, let's connect them together, and let's hope for 6 months it stays relevant, but we know in 3 months we got to try something else. So the team right now is extremely agile, knowing that we constantly have to move around.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Everything. It's fun. It's fun that, we have an amazing team, and we're all here to grow and do something extraordinarily special together. And I think that's what drives myself and everybody else here every day.
Awesome. Well, we know your time is valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our folks who are watching or listening, either on the consumer side or the lawyer side, where should they go to learn more?
Yeah, come to lawyer.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, check us out on LinkedIn. Super active. We post a weekly newsletter where we try to bring in as many interesting facts every week. And we like to have a lot of fun. So if you're up for a journey, come with us.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene here with Colleen Joyce from lawyer.com. Colleen, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.